all of these giant trading card game and Pokemon stores, all of them are losing their money. They're losing their asses right now on Marvel superheroes, but somehow my little store is growing faster than ever. So maybe we should talk about it. I just got back from jiu-jitsu training and I realized that the exact same cheat code that wins me matches is the same cheat code that has been helping my trading card game store grow faster than ever. I think that every business has an exploit, and that includes trading card game businesses. But most people will never find the exploit that works for them, the little hack, the Game Shark moment. Most people never find this because they're not looking for it. All these businesses that have all the starting capital and they have all of these advantages, they are not optimizing for what actually matters. But I think that I found my exploit. I think I found my little Game Shark hack that's been working for me. So here's the quick little version of how it goes in jiu-jitsu. Strength takes years to gain. You're limited by genetics. And if you do everything properly, there's a certain speed you can gain strength. Technique also can take years to build, especially if you have bad habits. But cardio is a little bit different. If you're willing to suffer enough, cardio can improve drastically and quickly. So the second you hit diminishing returns with technique, I don't go beyond that. The second I hit diminishing returns with strength, I don't try to go beyond that. I don't sacrifice my recovery. I optimize for cardio. I completely weaponize it and I try to make my opponent miserable. Because once I clinch my opponent, his technique's stronger than mine and he's stronger than me. But after a minute goes by, I always feel the same thing. Wow, his strength is dipping. Wow, his technique's getting a little sloppy or a little less sharp. Because he's getting tired and I'm not. One variable I have makes every variable my opponent has worse. And that's the Game Shark. That's the exploit. So I'm doing my sports specific cardio like a maniac and it hits me. Wow, this is how I run my business. This is how I run Happy Tiger Gaming. I think every business has that one variable, like my cardio. All of these trading card game businesses are optimizing around the wrong thing. They're spending their effort on the wrong thing. I'm just gonna say it how I feel from my heart, okay? I think everybody is playing the wrong game. The best way to grow your business isn't to maximize profits in the short term. I think it's about maximizing leverage in the short term. My personal belief is that profit is a scoreboard that everybody uses. All businesses, small businesses, bulk businesses, sealed case sellers like me, all of these businesses look at profit. Profit is the scoreboard. Everybody looks. And if you have less money because you didn't start with $100,000 like a lot of these businesses that are winning, then you can kind of look at percentages anyway. So you kind of see where you stack up to these big guys. Leverage changes the scoreboard. Relationships change the scoreboard. Systems, distribution access, repeat customers, they all change the scoreboard. But all of those things create profit later. They don't create profit right now. So most trading card game businesses, most Pokemon businesses, they're trying to optimize for profit. But they're not optimizing for the one thing that changes that years later. They're not thinking long term. I live by one rule. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. That's how Sun Tzu wrote it in The Art of War, but the way I say it, opportunities stack. So let's get to Marvel. The official Magic the Gathering store, they're on Amazon. Right now, Marvel play boosters, superhero play boosters, they're down to $148.98. Pretty cheap. They were selling for $210, now they're selling for $150. This is something we don't see in Pokemon a lot. This is a dip. TCG Player is selling them for $120 right now. This is market price. TCG Player is a good representation of what people are actually selling them for. Look at all these big stores that have more money than us. These big stores with more capital, selling 55 of them for $121 when their buy-in price was probably around mine. I paid $123 per Marvel Superheroes Play Booster. That was my buy-in price, and their price might be slightly better. But selling for $120 and then paying TCG Player fees, but let's say you're one of the fools that bought these for $210. If you bought them for $210 and sell them for $120, that's going to be $104 after you pay TCG Player selling fees. Then it's going to cost $6 to ship. So you're going to make $99 off of a $210 purchase. So for each box, in this case, you are losing $111. Negative $111 profit per box if you paid this MSRP, right? Whatever the $209.70 was. You got to think it's MSRP because it's Magic's official Amazon account. So if that's not suggested retail price, then you can't just make it up. That's what they suggest because that's what they actually sold it at. I paid $295 per collector booster display. But because I sell not on TCG Player, but on my own website, I don't lose as much money because I don't have to pay that 14% TCG Player fee. And so I can sell under market and make more profits. But still, even with this, on paper, look at this. It looks like I messed up. I didn't have my pre-order system finished, so I couldn't sell for pre-order prices. I had this product behind me, these Marvel superhero play boosters, collector boosters, all this fun stuff I had sitting behind me before the release date. Isn't that crazy? But I do work in management, which means I can't sit around making the perfect plays. I have overtime, I have a schedule. It doesn't even rotate, it's just different. In fact, I'm going overnight soon. So I'm going to make mistakes because I don't have the time to make perfect plays here. That's just reality. But let me explain why I'm so happy about this release and why it's probably the next best release since Final Fantasy for me. My goal here isn't squeezing every cent out of these stupid little play boosters. My goal isn't to maximize profit for today. Like I said, I keep saying it and I think it's going over people's heads what I actually mean in my TCG store when I say my goal is positioning, relationships, building my volume up, building trust, building these future opportunities that stack. If I was worried about maximizing profits all the time, I wouldn't be where I am now. And that's why that's still my play. There are stores with 10 to 100 times as much money as I have dumping hundreds of these boxes through marketplace fees just to get out, just so they can pay the rent and try again next release. But my position is a little different. I have direct access to customers. I have a community, small but growing. I could even sell directly on my Discord if I felt like it for under market prices. Link is in the comments. Positioning myself to where I have direct access to customers and the email list and all of that, that costs profits. Positioning myself where I have a store that people can find and hundreds of clicks a day, that costs profits early on too. All of these plays that cost precious profits early on when profits matter the most, these plays that were more about positioning, somehow they're paying off now more than ever. And in a bear market, let me tell you, direct access to customers is pretty good. Whenever anybody asks a TCG question, a Pokemon question, a business question in general, they always give this most ass-backwards stupid advice. Maximize profits early on, reinvest as aggressively as possible. You gotta separate every dollar you make. Business money is business money, personal money is personal money. There is always exceptions to every rule. There are always exceptions. So take any business rule, for example. Let's say separating your personal funds from your business funds. If you truly believe that your business compounds money more than anything else, why would you not put your personal funds into that business also? Why wouldn't you throw paychecks into that box as well if it really is going to compound as much as you truly believe? The more money I put into Happy Tiger Gaming, the more money I put into this machine, the tiger becomes a monster. The more aggressive it's becoming, it's growing faster than I thought it would be. The more of my personal dollars I throw at it. I'm not talking about only reinvest the profits. I'm not loyal to these accounting rules. I get that it makes sense in general, but I'm not super loyal to it. My paycheck keeps letting me invest when opportunities show up. That changes the trajectory of my TCG business. People ask me why I don't chase bulk. Well, two things. Number one, bulk is now better than it's ever been with ways where you can actually scale bulk up with, new systems in place. There's all these new scanners that count cards and they sort cards for you. If you're into bulk, maybe we're going into a golden age of bulk, but it's still not for me. Still not what I want to do. So if you care about the percentage of profit, you should probably do bulk. But in my business in Happy Tiger Gaming, bulk, it doesn't move the needle. It just doesn't do it. So I only have so many hours a week. So I always ask myself a couple questions before I do something. Does this increase my leverage? Does this improve my positioning? Does this make future opportunities bigger for me? And if the answer is no, that just drops on my priority list. So for example, you want to talk about ROI, you want to talk about return on investment. Here's a business degree I have. Actual business degree. What's the return of investment on that? Well, I didn't see a return the first year, so it was negative thousands of dollars. That move was not about profits. That move was about positioning. Here's another one, a digital marketing strategy certification from Harvard Business School Online. That wasn't free either. That cost $2,000 or something. Plus I had to do a course, a 6-week course, something like that. I can't remember. But either way, it was not free. Did that bring me into negative ROI? Yes. None of these guys would have done that, but it checks boxes for me that improves my positioning. The scoreboard looks terrible, but somehow things are happening. Somehow this guy with an online-only business has access to distributors. How does that happen? Because maybe I'm worried about positioning and not profits. I really think these are going to go up in price, so if you're a collector, maybe hold on to the collector boosters. I'm going to sell them. I'm going to sell them immediately. So if you want to know what's actually sitting behind me, I have a bunch of Marvel play boosters. I have some collector booster displays, a little bit of Chaos Rising stuff, scene boxes, Prismatic Evolution ETBs, a bunch of Turtle play boosters, bunch of Lorcana, Chaos Rising Elite Trainer box, just a bunch of random stuff behind me that I'm probably going to do a mini drop and put all of this on the website or something, right? And whether I do a drop or whether I do a pre-order, I promise I'm not going to do a pre-order for the Hobbit collector boosters for $850. GameStop, you okay? I promise I'm not going to do a pre-order for $250 each play booster. I promise that's not going to be a thing. GameStop, you okay? I created this Happy Tiger Gaming actionable checklist right here. This is, can't see it, can you? Every day I work on my business, I check everything off on this list. I ask myself, is all inventory listed? I have to list a minimum amount of items every day. I need to process all website, eBay, personal orders. I need to reduce the price on sale inventory. And then I have a section about distribution that I am not going to reveal, but it plays on positioning, right? And then I have an end of day section. At the end of the day, when I'm done working, I have to mark down how much cash I have in the business bank account. Then I have to list how much debt I have on this one credit card, how much debt I have on the second credit card, how much debt I have on the third credit card. Then I have a section, how much do I owe my distro accounts? And then I add that up. That's my total debt. Then I say, how much cash minus debt do I have? And it's either a positive or negative number. Notice I'm not including the value of everything on the shelves right now. So that's not going to include the amount of inventory I have. So it's always going to be a negative number. And every day I do my business, I go through this checklist that I created myself to make sure I'm prioritizing what's important. Isn't that crazy? I'm creating work for myself. It sounds nuts, right? I also have a release tracker on the bottom that it lets me know the date and when there's an important release for me, like Pokemon Pitch Black, Lorcana, Union Arena, Marvel the Gathering, Reality Fracture, Delta Rain, and it has the dates of releases so I don't miss something important. It looks like you can already pre-order Delta Rains by certain companies. They're already asking for your money for that set this early. But running it back, this stupid little piece of paper changed my business. It's stupid, and it's boring, and it works. While I'm on it, here's another stupid Reddit moment, shipping boxes. Somebody asked about shipping boxes. What shipping boxes should I use to sell Pokemon, right? And the guy's like, I just get free shipping boxes from the grocery store near me, or I ask, the Lowe's or whatever. I just ask for boxes. I get free boxes from wherever. And that makes sense. It makes sense not to pay for a shipping box until you start to scale to where I am. If your dimensions on the free box, which certainly aren't going to be perfect, are off by just a little bit, you might pay $7 or $8 more just to ship one thing. Congrats on the 33 cents you saved on that box, but now you're paying more in shipping because the dimensions are off. And B, even if the dimensions are close enough, the free boxes you're getting just happens to be the perfect dimensions to ship a booster box. 2 booster boxes. Cool, so you're not losing money on that, but if it's just a little bigger, now you're adding extra bubble wrap in there. You're losing more than 33 cents in shipping material anyway. So once you start scaling, you start realizing how bad some of this advice is, that it sounds like good business advice, but it's, as always, it's penny smart, dollar stupid. And my God, if something gets damaged because you used the wrong sized box, now you're out maybe $100, $200 because you wanted to get your 33-cent shipping box for free. I'm not trying to rant about shipping boxes, but literally it's just one of 20 things that I've seen on Reddit that sounds like good business advice, but it's actually backwards from reality, bro. Here's another. Do you see how fast that loaded? Another exploit is I push people to my website. I push people to Happy Tiger Gaming. This is why I talk about my email list, my Discord, the community, right? Because I don't want to rent TCG players' customers forever at 14%. Marketplaces are awesome. eBay is awesome. Whatnot? A lot of scammers, but in theory, awesome, right? And they helped me when I started, and they helped me build my business. But The scoreboard's changed, and it doesn't work for me anymore. There's going to be a bear market, and I want to have my own customers and my own community. It's why I'm creating this video, and it's the reason why you're still watching this far in. And that's going to make me survive the bear market. And even when Magic the Gathering has a bad set that everyone's crying, the set is under MSRP now. Oh my God, a bear market. Who knows how to operate in a bear market? Someone who looks at the scoreboard differently, and they're not worried about squeezing every penny out of everything. Every set, the sales just become easier and easier, and that doesn't matter if it's a bull market or a bear market. Try that on TCG Player. I work full time. I try to take care of my body. I run Happy Tiger Gaming. I make these YouTube videos. I have a cat that I take care of. This year, I've barely seen my friends. That is me saying, not everybody should do this like me. If you want a Pokemon side hustle, don't do it like me. Don't do this. You don't want this. Seriously, because your goals are going to determine your sacrifice. So if you don't want to scale a business to an absurd degree, maybe you shouldn't do things my way. That's why I'm talking about my journey and what I do, but I'm not telling you what you should do. So if you haven't figured out the exploit that I'm talking about, it's not Marvel. It's not Pokemon. It's not Distro. It's not a Final Fantasy set that gets lucky. In Jiu-Jitsu, the exploit was cardio. The exploit was identifying one variable that made everything else easier. In my Pokemon business, that variable, the word I use a lot, is leverage. Every decision I make gets filtered through one simple question. Does this decision make my cat happy? But there's also another question. Does this make Happy Tiger Gaming stronger next year, or does it just make me feel good today? So all I'm suggesting at the end of the day is your Pokemon business, your TCG business, your side hustle. Find your one question. Find your one thing that you want to exploit. Stop optimizing for the wrong thing. Stop looking at the wrong scoreboard. I mean, everyone says sell bulk, start here, and other channels say this, buy a collection at 70%, and maybe you should vend. And then I'm just doing something completely different at Happy Tiger Gaming. Maybe that's why my advice sounds contradictory. Everybody is arguing about tactics. They're not telling you how much money they started with. Well, one guy is, but most aren't telling you how much money they started with. Like, building relationships isn't even something you do in business for a lot of these guys, yet it has paid off the most for me. I honestly think the real winners aren't working any harder than those guys. I think the real winners are just solving more important problems. I believe in the theory of constraints in business. I talk about constraints all the time. I believe in focusing on the one thing that has the biggest impact on my goals at the time. And as soon as that changes, then I change my focus. Maybe you shouldn't copy me. Maybe you shouldn't copy DJ's Pokemon Center or PokeNE or Danny Phantom or Alpha Investments. Maybe you shouldn't copy him. Maybe your goals and your trade-offs are a little different than all of theirs, right? But I will give you one more piece of advice before I go. Once you find your thing, the one thing that just crushes the bottleneck in your Pokemon business, just stop apologizing for it. If bulk is your thing, slam it down people's faces. Do bulk. Explain why it's the best. Don't apologize for what you're doing. It's working for you, or you believe it's going to work for you. And if that changes, don't apologize for changing your mind. Just don't be apologetic. Document your journey. It helps to have a following. Do what matters. As for the Marvel in the background, I'm going to put it up for market price, maybe a little cheaper on my website. And there's going to be a little discount code, maybe $10 off in the Discord. But I'm just not going to keep apologizing for the way I run my business, because my Pokemon business is growing faster than ever. I'm getting closer to my goals, and this is how I do it. And I'm going to keep documenting my journey, whether you like it or not. But if you like it, you should hit that subscribe button. I'm sure you see the little button here. There's a little video to click on somewhere. Join the Discord and have a great day. Okay, bye.